Traders, welcome back to another video where we're going to discuss price action fundamentals. And market volatility picked up a lot today. We can see there are a lot of bars on the chart, and yet price action today didn't offer us a lot of high probability setups. And we're going to talk about it. Me specifically, I didn't take any setup today. I only tried to take one setup. This was this entry right here, but because of the signal bar was too big, my limit order wasn't filled because I put it a little bit, couple ticks back. But today was extremely frustrating day, extremely hard day to read because there was almost no a good clean two-legged pullback at a key entry point that would be a high probability setup. There were a lot of V-shaped reversals, a lot of strong spikes in momentum without any single pullback. So let's talk about the structure and let's talk about how do we navigate this market using price action rules, because not every single day is going to be easy. I called the wrap hour and a half before the close because I was just extremely tired and I was getting really frustrated because it is extremely difficult to sit here for 6-7 hours without entering a setup and not even seeing a proper setup. So we're going to talk about all these setups and why there were so few setups today. Let's talk about today's structure as we would see the market around the open. Market open somewhere around this area, and we can see that right now we have a small trading range structure. We can see we have a proven support and we have a proven resistance. So remember, when we are looking at the structure, we know that we expect for price to go from top of this resistance all the way down here. So that is according to price action trading range rules. We can see that the price is pushing below EMA, confirming strong bearish momentum, and we have a shortened downtrend in play. We need to draw the shortened trend lines because price action is never naked on the chart. The candlesticks are always bound in some form of pattern, and this pattern will keep us on the right side of the market. We can see we have a break of this downtrend and we have a couple legs to a new extreme. Now, price strongly pushed higher above EMA, and from this point on, we would be expecting to get a failed second entry short because right now we're pushing lower. We have a break and the downtrend played out. We are failing to reach the support and we're pushing back above EMA. This strong push above EMA is confirming the bullish momentum, and notice what we have. We have a new low form right here, which is where we reset the count. Price pushes above EMA and gave us a first attempt to sell. It failed and pushes higher, and there is a second attempt to sell and it failed. But notice what happened. The failed second entry short is far away from exponential moving average, and also we already moved quite high. So I cannot take this entry long, and this is not a valid high probability setup because for failed second entry short to be a high probability setup, it needs to form at the key entry point. And this entry right here is not at the EMA, is not at the key entry point. So unfortunately, we cannot take this entry just yet. Market created a break, created a new extreme, which indicated that the uptrend played out according to trading range rules. And right now the price action is quite simple. Once we see a break a new high and we see strong push below EMA like this, we just switch the bias, we switch the gears, and right now we're looking for shorts. Once we are pushing below EMA, notice price created a lower high, but lower high triggered below a bullish bar like this. And lower high is a confirmation setup and it requires to have a great signal bar. If I want to sell, since I want to sell because I see a strong push below EMA like this and the uptrend played out, I want to sell below big bearish bar, preferably like this. So even though technically we have a lower high here, this is not considered a great entry. Just say we cannot take this entry right here because it is a bullish bar. Once you were looking at this, you're expecting to get a failed second entry long. This is what I was expecting when I was watching this, and an uptrend played out with such a strong push below EMA. I can get a failed second entry long at the EMA as a high probability setup. But notice how it formed. Instead of price breaking below this bearish bar, there was no tick below this bearish bar, so there was no entry. Price pushed above EMA, gave us a bullish doji, and then the failed second entry long form. First entry long, pullback, second entry long, failure. EMA is getting flat. Price is starting to stack a little bit, and once you see EMA getting in the middle of this bar, this is starting to indicate congestion, and this is not the best entry. So according to rules, we want to take the failed second entry long here according to context, but there's just not a great way to enter. The signal bar is horrible, and then price form a lower high, which a lot of times lower high after failed second entry long can be taken as a confirmation setup because we have failed second entry long, price broke lower, pulled back and gave us a lower high, but notice how big this lower high is. This lower high cannot be entered due to sound money management system. You would be risking way too much for the tiny little scalp, and if this trade goes against you and you're on the wrong side of the market, you can pay for it dearly. So this entry cannot be taken. And you guys can see this is going to be a theme that we're going to see for today. A lot of setups that you are anticipating but yet cannot be taken because the price action was just all over the place today. Notice market push lower, is attempting to reach the bottom of this trading range. However, there is no high probability setup at this point on, and market strongly pushed above EMA again. Now already we can see that we are coming from the failed breakout at the top, and we are starting to create series of lower highs and low lows, but it's still too early to look for a bigger pattern, because in ranges you want to stick to the short-term patterns for the most part. So at this point on, you're just playing the short-term trend lines, and I see such a strong push above EMA. There's no chance for us to get in. There's not even a high low, new high form. We have a first entry long, pullback, second entry long, but there is a little short-term trend line that is being in play at the time. Plus you first push below EMA. If anything, I was expecting to jump on board on a failed second entry long, because we still keep recreating series of lower highs and lower lows. And if you notice, this low is lower than this low is lower than this, and this low is lower than all these previous lows. So at this point on, there's a bearish imbalance in the market. So I can draw this downtrend just to get the idea and just to visually make sure that I am aware of the bearish imbalance, because we keep making series of lower highs and lower lows. So once we turn down like this strongly and we push below EMA, you're expecting the same thing you're expecting right here. You're expecting to get a failed second entry long. You have a new high first entry long, second entry long failure, but notice how big this bar is. This is similar to this bar right here, and this cannot be entered. This is gigantic bearish bar. But at this point on, according to price action, we're coming from the highs and we're still expecting to reach the bottom, the support. We came a little bit shy here, but since there is a series of lower highs and there's a bearish imbalance being formed because price is failing to reach the resistance multiple times, you're expecting still now to reach the support of this trading range. Price formed as a lower high, which is now a confirmation of a failed second entry long. Basically what you're expecting right here, this is the repeat pattern of this. Just here it looks a little bit better. Here it's much more congested. So this is a decent first entry for the day, a lower high after failed second entry long, great big bearish bar, and it's closed below EMA as well. At this point on, price keeps pushing below EMA and it keeps pushing below EMA strongly. Price created a break, created new extreme, and there's a strong push above EMA. Why is price pushing strongly back above EMA? Well, because if you guys take a look, this is a trading range structure, and most breakouts of these trading ranges will fail. So at this point on, even though we have a downtrend working lower, we have a strong push below EMA, and this is the breakout area. And you guys know that these breakout areas, these important key levels, a lot of times will get tested almost always. So since we push strongly below EMA like this, we expect for price to pull back and retest the breakout area of the initial trading range. And there's a short-term uptrend working higher, and there's a new low form, and there's a first entry short pullback, second entry short, which you are expecting for price to give you a new extreme of the uptrend. You're combining it with the failed breakout, but the signal bar is horrible. You have to go long above bearish doji bar, and then you have a double bar entry with this bar right here that has a stem at the top. Half of the bullish, half of the body is a bearish stem. So this really didn't set up properly. Context wise, this is a great entry because it's a failed second entry short reversal pattern after downtrend played out with the breakout and new low, and you're coming from the failed breakout. So you expect for price to go back into trading range and you expect new high, but it's set up really poorly. After price created a break and a new extreme, that indicating that the bullish correction is over, and now the overall bearish imbalance is coming in to play. You have no idea it's going to reverse like that. You're just following this overall bearish imbalance, the overall downtrend. You have a strong push below EMA, and once I was watching this, I see the uptrend played out. I was expecting for price to give me a lower high, but I wanted the lower high to be right below the exponential moving average, because we just had a break and new low of the short-term downtrend, and we just came from the full breakout. So I'm playing with fire, trying to predict a swing short. So I really want to have as much room as I can. So since we're coming from the failed breakout and the downtrend played out with the breakout and new low, I wanted to lower high to close right below EMA, but instead price completely never pulled back and just created a big leg down, and then it created a small bullish correction working hard. This correction managed to create a small bullish uptrend, and this lower high now already corrected for too long and moved too far. It is a little nuanced, I understand. This is why I marked it. If you took this lower high and it is a tempting entry to take, I can definitely see why, and the context wise, price action wise, you didn't do anything wrong. Just the fact that this is really an area where we can bounce here. I really want to lower high to form right below EMA. I didn't want to see it go too far down like that. And once we have a bullish correction like this is where I was expecting to get second entry short, new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. But second entry short is once again unenterable. The bearish bar is way too big. Your stop loss has to go all the way above this bullish bar right here. So you would enter, this would have been your entry unless you would enter with the limit order further back. But since I saw this getting a little bit congested, I just cannot enter at this point. And the congestion continue. You guys can see we have a small little congestion just choppying. There is no entry to be taken. There's a little failed breakout, but there is no clear resistance, and the bias is unsure because you have a potential downtrend, but you're coming from the lows and you failed breakout. I really, need to wait here because price action is just unclear. We're hovering around the main key level and price strongly pushed higher. Once you have a strong push above EMA like this, and we're confirming the failed breakout and we are playing the trading range, notice how these trading ranges are effective. Every single area and every single time price attempts to break below or above the trading range, price instantly snaps back into this trading range. Once price is pushing higher like this, we expect at least a little pullback. You would expect to get either high low or failed second entry short, and we never got it. Today, we had a lot of V-shaped reversals without any pullback. By the time you get a second entry long, the price is already far away from exponential moving average like this. So there is no entry according to price action rules as a high probability entry. Remember, high probability setup is a two-legged pullback at the key entry point, and we are not at the key entry point. We are just pushing higher and never looking back. Price created a break, two legs to a new extreme, and you guys may notice I'm not marking any entries to fade the breakout. Why? Because once there are trends that are large enough on their own in trading ranges, when the trading range gets big, you don't want to be fading the breakouts because you just don't know when exactly the price is going to turn. So there is no way to get in this bullish move up, and there's at the same time no way to sell because now we have a failed breakout above the important key level. So we're following the range rules. We have a strong push below EMA confirming the bearish momentum, and we would expect to get a failed second entry long, and we never get a failed second entry long. No, price just pushed lower and V-shaped reversal never offered us any setup. Then we have a new low, and I was expecting to get a second entry short below EMA, but we didn't get it. We have a new low, first entry short right here, but price pushes above EMA and offers us a second entry short, but second entry short formed this late above EMA. This uptrend is still in play, so there is no way for me to take an entry right here, and price made a big move down again. So just as strongly we pushed up, we just strongly reversed down without any chance for us to get in. Very frustrating today. You're just watching this and you cannot enter according to rules because there are just no high probability setups. Market created a break, attempted to create new extreme, and I marked this setup. This setup would be the only two-legged pullback that would be decent so far that I would like, but we have a micro double bottom, and you guys know that I reset the count when we have micro double bottom. It looks like a two legs up, first leg, pullback, second leg. You are at the key entry point. You are in a downtrend because these first two swings set up to trendline, and it looks like we may get repeat pattern of this. So this is a two-legged pullback. You're at the EMA. It is just micro double bottom here, so I reset the count and I treat it as a first entry. However, this entry taken by advanced trader can definitely be taken because this can serve as a two-legged pullback. Uptrend played out with the break and attempt to create new extreme, and EMA keeps holding price. So definitely a decent entry if you know how this price action acts. It is a two-legged pullback. Price created new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. It confirms the key entry point. First two swings set up to trend line. Third swing confirmed it, so this trend line is confirmed, but mainly you would find it off the bottom. You could confirm the trend line off the bottom. So it's a two-legged pullback, great bearish bar off the trend line. Market continue pushing lower, reverse back up, break, new extreme, no chance to get in, no reversal pattern, break below EMA. You would be expecting the same thing you are expecting here or here, to get lower high or failed second entry long. By the time you get lower high, you're far away from EMA, you move quite a bit down, and you don't get not even one failed second entry long. So there are so many pushes to the downside without any failed second entry long to capitalize on the move down. Market pushed higher, and the same story. It's pushing lower, first entry long, second entry long failure. You actually get a failed second entry long. But by that time, since price kept pushing lower and lower, I had my support adjusted like this because the trading range has moved at this point on, and we have a multiple confirmations at this bottom. So this failed second entry long is directly at the lows of the support. This is one of those trades where your gut feeling is telling you you will probably break lower, because a lot of people probably got trapped going long on a second entry long at the support at the key level. So they got filled in and it instantly reversed on them, big bearish bar. So you probably know you're going to make a scalp. According to rules, I have some rules that I follow, and I just don't want to short bottom of a trading range. And why don't you want to go long? Because if you take a look at the structure, it looks the same way as this structure right here. You have a series of lower highs, you have a bearish imbalance, because if you take a look at the midline, price is barely making it to the midline and it's failing to reach the top tier of a trading range. So from this point on, this is a weak trading range, and we expect for price to keep pushing lower. We have to get proven trend in other direction before we look for longs. And right now here we have a series of lower highs and lower lows, and we don't want to pick bottom just yet. Price pushed lower, form a new extreme, and you would be expecting to get a reversal pattern, and you never get it. You just get a first entry short here, and it pulled back down and never offered you anything. And then you have a new low, first entry short, pull back, second entry short failure above EMA. And this is the same story as here. Once the support was a little bit higher, we move the support down. If we're going to zoom out, we can see that this is a trading range structure, and according to rules, most breakouts of trading ranges will fail. So we expect for price to go from the bottom back into trading range, because we are now back above the EMA, and this is a big bullish bar and a failed second entry short. Now market finally pushed higher and created an uptrend, and this is where finally we could have gotten a few decent high probability setups, because all of these setups, they look great in hindsight, but if you're watching this live and you get a lot of these sketchy moves, it's really hard to be confident that you're reading this properly. So even though some of these moves looks great in hindsight, at the time it's really hard to be able to execute and be sure you're reading properly. This is why I haven't taken a single trade at this point on, because there's just a lot of V-shaped reversals. Market is pushing back into trading range. No second entry long, just only a first entry all the way. Price created a new high, first entry long, pull back, second entry long at the exponential moving average with the overall direction of a trend. This was really hard to enter because it gapped up and you would have to be extremely quick with the stop order. Price created a new high, give you a first entry long, pull back, second entry long, but it's below EMA, it's a doji, and the downtrend is in play. Then price created a small break, new extreme, and a reversal bar. This entry is already tempting. It is basically a double trap I made as well. Market, because everybody who went long on a second entry long too early while this downtrend is in play just got trapped, and everybody who went short on a failed second entry long too early got trapped because the uptrend is in play. You cannot go short on a failed second entry long because this uptrend needs to get a new extreme. So this is called a double trap. Both sides got trapped because they entered a little bit too early. Strong bullish bar, and then you expect after push above EMA, you expect to get a new extreme, you expect higher low, and this was the setup, great high low that managed to push above EMA, confirmed that you need to get new extreme, and this is a great entry. I tried to enter this, but since the bar was so big, I dropped the limit order further back in just a couple ticks, and it never really came back and filled my order. So price created a new high. At this point on, after we have a new high, what do we expect? We expect correction or straight up reversal. Strong push below EMA indicating reversal, break, new low form. So now you know that the downtrend played out. So you're going to observe the EMA because we can continue pushing lower and lower, but we have a break, new low. If you're going to get a second entry short here, EMA is going to hold price, but price pushed strongly above EMA and never even rejected price. And once the price is pushing above EMA like this, and you have a new low, first entry short, pullback, you're expecting to get a failed second entry short above EMA, so you can jump on board and go long. And there was no failed second entry short once again in form all the way up to here, far away from the EMA. Typical setup for today. Just a lot of V-shaped moves, a lot of strong moves without any single chance for you to get in. Price got a new high, first entry long, pull back, second entry long, but now you have a break, new high, and another break, and another new high, and you have a small triple top here. I have the resistance slightly higher, but if I'm going to move the resistance a little bit lower like this, you guys can see we are close to forming a triple top. So I don't like taking any entry at this point on. It would have worked for a scalp, and I almost took it, but the signal bar needs to be great if I'm taking second entry long after new extreme is formed. Price push lower, EMA is getting flat, we are swinging up and down in this trading range. A lot of indecision right here, a lot of congestion overall. EMA is getting flat, price is swinging up and down. You have a downtrend working lower, break, 2 legs to new extreme. Very tempting long. I may even mark this long. I expected to get a high low above EMA like this, or potential failed second entry short, but never got it. Market just V-shaped reversal, strongly pushed up and never pull back. Now you bounce at the resistance, so now you get a high low, but now this high low form after price already moved above EMA and touch the resistance. And that's not how you want to take the high low. The high low needs to form while the price is on its way up. It needs to form before you reach the resistance. Once you reach the resistance, now there can be an additional sellers that are coming into play. So even though this looks like a great high low, no, it's not, because the high low is supposed to form while the uptrend is pushing higher and it's on its way to the resistance, not like this while you're already confirming this. So here you're expecting second entry long, you never get it. Market created new high, first entry long, second entry long, but the downtrend is in play. And this is one of those second entry longs that are late at the trend and you almost didn't even correct. You just pushed higher and this is very steep and you just broke above the trading range, so you may expect to pull back. So this is too early. This is one of those second entry longs traps late with the trend. You're expecting to get a high low, you never get high low, you get a break, new low form, big bullish bar, then there is a gap and this cannot be entered because this just gapped up and strongly reversed up. And once again, frustrating price action today, no entry to be taken. Market push lower, break, new low, second entry short is too far away from EMA, price is pushing higher, not a chance to get a good setup at the EMA, and market close. So this was extremely frustrating day to trade. Very few setups, very few high probability setups. Like I said, I didn't take any setup today. I only tried to take this setup right here. And just you never really got a good decent high low or failed second entry short or long to confirm the setup. You just had a lot of V-shaped reversals. You just have a new low, first entry short, second entry short, but you have to take second entry short in the middle of nowhere. Same thing right here, first entry short, second entry short, same thing right here. You just have to be taking all these setups in the middle of nowhere without a key entry point, and this is getting risky. And this is rare. There are not that many days that are like this. Most of the days there's going to be at least a couple of a good decent high probability setup that are easy to spot. So this is just one of those days where you just have to sit here, be patient, and the next day the price action is going to be much easier. So I hope you had a great trading day, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.